in 2024 we have probably generated 150 zettabyte of data, which is one zettabyte is 1 billion terabytes of data. And we used to double this data earlier. Like if you go to 10 years back and see, we used to double this data every 5 years. Now it is getting doubled every 2 to 3 years. So I would say the proliferation of internet, hardware and cloud essentially help the data come into play and start getting generated. The cost of compute and the progress that we have made from a computational point of view, moving away from CPUs to first GPUs and then to TPUs, thereby allowing AI to actually crunch that amount of data that is getting generated. So I would call internet penetration and hardware cost as the first trident, compute and storage proliferation due to cloud as the second, and third, the evolution in computing itself, which went from CPU to GPU to TPUs in a matter of a decade. So like I have been working in machine learning before it was cool. Like I have been working in machine learning since early 2000s, like 2005-6. And the thing is that when the first CUDA compiler was written by NVIDIA, due to which you could actually compute all of this on a GPU instead of a CPU, that was, I believe, 2009 or 10. And in 14 years of time, to be the first to execute a deep learning kind of a computation on a GPU, we have come to large language models, which are trillion parameter models, which take millions of dollars just to get trained. Depending on the scale and the industry that you're using these AI models in, the repercussions, I would call them, would range from a brand loss or a reputation loss to actual revenue loss to compliance loss to regulatory loss and to bankruptcy, I would say, in some cases. So if you're running a simple model as a mom and pop store to recommend products to your customers, and your data is wrong, your AI models would be wrong, they start seeing weird recommendations, they would lose trust only on your platform, and you will take a hit in terms of brand loss as well as some revenue loss. But you move this to a retail industry, you are optimizing your supply chain using these models. If this model goes wrong, your supply chain is kaput. You might lose billions of dollars in a very short amount of time. You move this to a banking industry. If you're using these models for anti-money laundering, fraud detection, which are basically compliance and regulations of those industries, if it goes wrong there, it's actually penalties in form of government compliance violations. You might also not be able to procure a license for banking. Your license might be cancelled. So it has wide-ranging repercussions depending on the type of industry and the scale that you are using AI for. So the way you actually differentiate between AI washing and actual AI is essentially the ability of AI to learn, adapt, and handle complexity beyond any given predefined instruction. A rule or a set of rules, which is basically if-else statements, follow a very fixed explicit guideline. I can take an example here. Suppose you have a simple data set, which is you selling products. So a product name, the city the product was bought from, and the value of that product. You might set that unique number of cities must be 4, the product's unique number of products must be 10, and average sales volume should be greater than 200k a day. You can set up all of these rules and they will function as expected. But what happens when the deviations are within the certain constraints but still anomalies? I'll give you an example in this case. Suppose you started noticing fraudulent transactions which are happening for the same amount for different products across different cities. A rule will not catch that. Our AI system will catch that. If your distribution changes but it stays within the rule definition that a customer has defined, it will not raise an anomaly or it will not raise an alert, but an AI system will understand there has been a deviation that I need to inform to the user. It might be an expected deviation or not, that is a separate thing. But AI systems will surface these insights to you periodically, whereas rule-based systems will only surface what you have asked it to surface. So that I believe would be the major differentiator between AI washed features as well as actual AI features.